Every major treaty explained in 3 minutes. Treaty of Westphalia, 1648. End the 30 Years' War in Europe, establishing the concepts of state sovereignty and the modern international system of independent states. Treaty of Versailles, 1919. Formally ended World War I, imposing heavy reparations and territorial losses on Germany, significantly altering the map of Europe. Charter of the United Nations, 1945, founded the United Nations to promote international cooperation and prevent future conflicts, establishing guidelines for the organization's operations and the principles of international law. North Atlantic Treaty, 1949, established NATO, a military alliance for collective defense against aggression, initially aimed at countering the threat of Soviet expansion in Europe. Geneva Conventions, 1949, a series of treaties that set the standards in international law for humanitarian treatment in war, covering the treatment of wounded soldiers, prisoners of war, and civilians. Treaty of Rome, 1957, established the European Economic Community, EEC, laying the foundation for the modern European Union by promoting economic integration among 6 European countries. Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, 1968, aimed to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote cooperation in the peaceful use of nuclear energy, establishing a framework for nuclear disarmament. Helsinki Accords, 1975, a major diplomatic agreement aimed at improving relations between the Communist bloc and the West, recognizing the borders of Europe post-World War II and committing to respect human rights and fundamental freedoms. Camp David Accords, 1978, led to a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt, marking the first time an Arab country recognized Israel and a significant step toward peace in the Middle East. Kyoto Protocol, 1997, an international agreement that set binding targets for industrialized countries to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in an effort to combat climate change. Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, 1996, a multilateral treaty that prohibits all nuclear explosions for both civilian and military purposes in an effort to achieve nuclear disarmament. Good Friday Agreement, 1998, ended most of the violence of the Troubles, a political conflict in Northern Ireland, by establishing devolved government and creating provisions for historical inquiries and disarmament. Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, 2016, a trade agreement among 12 Pacific Rim countries aimed at deepening economic ties, reducing tariffs, and promoting trade to boost growth. The USA withdrew in 2017. Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, 2015, an agreement between Iran and the P5+1, the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council and Germany, plus the EU, to ensure Iran's nuclear program will be exclusively peaceful in exchange for lifting economic sanctions. Paris Agreement, 2015, an international accord within the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, dealing with greenhouse gas emissions mitigation, adaptation, and finance, starting in the year 2020. Click here to learn about every major empire in 5 minutes.